Good morning, Rahul.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. How are you? Are you still here or have you moved to Chandigarh?
Ma'am, I'll move on 30th.
On 30th, okay. So I hope you will be able to manage your internet today.
Yeah, today's fine.
So that's fine. Okay. Did you
Yes.
go through the previous lessons?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Did
Not
you?
all, but some.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So,
did the Parajumbles second part.
hmm. So
Then I
any
was revising.
doubts? Any doubts in them?
Not, not that I know of, ma'am.
Okay. So you are able to do the questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. In case you have any problem, you can just message me and we can connect, or you can bring it up in tomorrow's class. So have you been writing down the problems you're facing or any doubts you have?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you written down anything so far?
I actually did in a notebook. Like doubt as in questions, or like I had doubts according like some topics which I had to go through again.
Okay.
Vocabulary first of all.
In vocabulary. Okay. So you had attended all the sessions of vocabulary with Deepshika ma'am?
Yeah. Even she also said that vocabulary you need to go through words every day.
Yeah.
But like even after going through, it's hard to
Yeah, that
know
it is.
which.
Like
Yeah.
it's not that you will be you won't be able to figure out the one minute. So vocabulary is a long process. So that's why when we started last year with the batch, it was like vocabulary has to be done every single day, 5 words every day. Whatever you read, you get the words, you write down the meanings, you write down the synonyms. That's how you develop. So it's okay. Not that you'll have very difficult words coming in. Hello. Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Grima, you could join in.
Yes, ma'am. I got it now.
Okay. Good. That's what I was trying to figure out. Okay, so good morning, Agrima. Good morning, Mansi.
Good morning, ma'am.
So have you been able to do the last worksheet? That is worksheet 13.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts, any problems with the answers?
No, ma'am.
No, you were able to solve all of them?
Yes.
Okay, great. Mansi, how about you?
Yes, ma'am. I was able to solve them, but I didn't. It's like I'm left with 1, 2 recording videos. The classes I have left with. So I have not
Okay.
gone through that too. But rather than that, I don't have any doubts in other subjects. Like it's clear about.
Okay, so which lessons have you not been able to go through as yet? The grammar ones? Hello?
Sorry, ma'am. I said
Yeah.
grammar session 4 is remaining of mine.
Okay, fine. So that's okay. You can go through it anyway. You have to go through the grammar rules. Okay, so are you people marking your time also?
Yes, ma'am.
So is there improvement in your time?
It was rather than the last worksheet, it was good. Like, after para completion, it took time for me, but rearrangement was better. Very much.
Okay, it will take time. So say the first worksheet, and as I give you more of the revision, and have you okay, Mansi, Agrima, and Rahul, have you done all the exercises from the study material that's from the book?
Not yet, ma'am. I have solved
No.
those.
Okay, so solve all those. Those will give you extra practice. Because I didn't do them in class because it would be a repetition for all those who have already done it before. Yeah, so half the class was there earlier, so we had done those exercises earlier. So you will be doing that for extra practice, and whatever else I give you, those you time yourself with.
Ma'am, about that, I had a doubt in one of the exercises of session 4. So
Of
could you
session 4, okay.
just,
So in the worksheets I gave you or in the book?
ma'am, in the book?
In the book, okay. Okay, can you give me the page number and exercise number? Which particular
Yes, one second.
question?
Page number 32,
32.
exercise 1.
Okay. Exercise 1. Which exercise 1? These are the ones without options.
Yeah, in which we have to read the sentence and choose whether it's a dangling modifier, misplaced mod. So in
Yeah.
that, I was able to solve all other exercises except this, because I'm not able to figure out the difference between a dangling modifier and a misplaced. Like concept-wise, I understand, but in the exercise, I'm not able to solve. So could you guide?
Okay. So just if you look at the first one, right? If you have your material, I don't
Yes,
have
ma'am.
that opened. Okay. So the first one says, always eager for cake, the birthday party was attended by everyone. Yeah. So in this case, if you see the first part of the sentence, there's a comma after it. Always eager for cake means it is giving you some extra information about a particular person or thing. Now, always eager for cake. If you see, who was eager for cake? Is it the birthday party or is it everyone?
Everyone.
Everyone. So you have, when you have a modifier in the beginning of the sentence and it does not refer, or the noun or the subject which is it is modifying is not immediately after the comma, then you call it a dangling modifier. So it's dangling in the beginning. The subject is not clear, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you look at the second one, water from the sprinkler started to rust the brand new child's bike. Okay, so here you had the water from the sprinkler started to rust the brand new child's bike. So the brand new child's bike, that is a little bit of a problem there. Is it the child's bike? Is it the child who is brand new or the bike who is brand new?
The bike.
The bike, yeah. The child's brand new bike would make better sense,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So the subjects are not properly arranged. So here, this is a modifier which is not in the beginning of the sentence. So we would call it a misplaced modifier. Now in the exam, you will not be asked whether it's a dangling modifier or misplaced modifier. This was an exercise just to see whether you understood the concept of modifiers.
Oh, and so in exam this won't come.
No, in the exam you will just have options given to you and you have to pick the correct the option which corrects the sentence. So
Oh,
these will
right.
come mostly in the sentence improvement questions.
No, that I was able to solve, only this, because the thing is, the answers that you are saying, I thought of them, but then in the answer key, it's given opposite. So that's why I got confused.
Answer key is given opposite.
It's on page 33.
No, the answers for this one is not given even. The answers are, okay, yeah, it is given. Yeah, the answer seems to be wrong. Number 1 would be dangling, number 2 would be misplaced. Number 3, in fact, would be dangling. Yes, thanks for pointing out. So the answers given are wrong. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So, ma'am, in the comma case, can we directly say that it will be a dangling modifier?
See, you have to see if a modifier is in the beginning of the sentence and the subject doesn't come immediately after the comma, then we call it, then it will be a dangling modifier. Now it may be a case like whenever you come across this type of a sentence in the question, you'll read whether the rest of it is correct or not, right? So the moment you see a comma, you have to see, is the sentence correct? Is it making sense? If it is not making sense, then you can say it's a dangling modifier if it is in the beginning of the sentence. If it is anywhere in the middle of the sentence or end of the sentence, then you can say it's a misplaced modifier.
So, ma'am, for question 4, will it be misplaced or dangling?
Question 4, forgetting that the microphone was on, the whole audience heard the singer's fight with his wife. So that will also be a dangling modifier, not a misplaced modifier. So the same, yeah, the answers are incorrect. 3 is also a dangling modifier. The answers are all wrong. Sorry, I didn't check on the answers here. Yeah, it's all opposite. You're right. Sorry for the confusion created. Okay, any other questions, anybody, before we begin? Yes, Satvika, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Satvika, are your interviews for Christ over?
Yes, they are.
How did it go?
They went fine. Yeah, they went fine.
So do they have any group discussion, written essay or something?
No, they had a personal interview and a micro presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was it. And an entrance test.
Okay, good. So we hope to get some positive news.
Yes.
Good. All the best. Okay, so today now we have more or less completed all the topics, and now all we need is a little more practice. And yes, Deepika ma'am would be taking the reading comprehension portion. I think Monday onwards she'll be taking your sessions. Okay. Okay, so do I have to talk to blank screens and names today? Please come in with your faces. Thank you, Satvika. Agrima, Mansi, yes, please. Okay. So now do you want to do some practice? Mansi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how many of you have done all the questions from previous year's papers? Anybody? No? Mansi, have you gone through any of the previous year's papers?
Ma'am, not all, last year's, I guess, and 21.
And 21. So have you solved all the questions?
Not all, ma'am, because I was left with some of the topics,
Okay.
but I've seen through the
Yeah,
one.
some of them, the grammar based questions we've already done, and the sentence completion, the gap filling ones, the paragraph completion and para-jumble. These questions we've already done. Yeah. Now what is left is the vocabulary questions. Yeah, sentence improvement questions also we've done from the previous year's papers. Now some of the vocabulary related questions, I think has Deepshika ma'am done them? If not, we will do them. Yes, agree, ma'am. Do you remember whether Deepshika ma'am has done all the previous year's questions?
Wait, previous years I don't remember, but we have done the textbook exercises.
Textbook questions. Okay, fine. So I think we will do a quick revision with the previous year's questions. So you are thorough with the question types that will be coming, and you will know the difficulty level and how to solve them. So most of the questions we've done, whatever is remaining, we will be going through today, right? Before we go into okay, now another thing I wanted to ask, how confident are you till now about all the topics that we have done? Are you able to solve the questions without any problem?
Yes,
Disagree,
ma'am.
ma? Yes. Mansi?
Yes, ma'am.
Rahul?
Ma'am, most of the questions, no issues, but some questions do take a lot of time.
Yeah, some will be like that's why I said you have to be able to manage your time. So the questions which take less time, and you have to be able to figure out which questions take less time and which questions take more time. So the para jumbles, para completions, reading comprehension, this will always take more time. And the other questions which are not analytical will take a little less time. So the grammar questions, you know exactly, if you know the grammar rules, you can pinpoint the mistake. Vocabulary, more or less, if you know the meaning, you can read through the sentences and figure out which words are used properly, which words are not used properly. And when it comes to synonyms and antonyms, those take a little less time, And even if you don't know the exact meaning of the word, you can still figure out by elimination process. Yeah. So Satvika, I think you are a little better off than the others
At what?
at solving the questions.
I'd say that my weak point is definitely reading comprehension or critical reasoning. I think it's not that I don't get the answer, it's just that I take way more time than I can give to the question. So it's an issue of time.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's why I said you have to formulate your strategies. Now, every person has a different skill set. So you have to be able to formulate your strategies according to your strengths and weaknesses. Say, if you say that you take way too much time in reading comprehension, so you have to formulate a strategy so that you can you can do those questions in less time. So do you, where do you lose your time first thing?
I think I lose my time in analyzing which option fits better for the question, because the options are pretty confusing, right?
Yeah, they are
There is
confusing.
a very minute difference in one or two of the options.
So, okay. So for everybody, when you are reading the comprehension passage, are you reading each and every word of it?
No, ma'am, I usually go through the questions first and then I eliminate, which is, I don't think so it is necessary as per the questions given.
So first go through the questions. Now, yeah, one thing that when you are doing the exam, now in the book, you can go through all the questions at one go. But when you're doing the exam, you have to mark a tentative answer before you go into the next question. Yeah. So that becomes a little tough. But when you are reading the comprehension passage, don't read every word of it. Get a gist of it, in fact. Go through it. So just skim through it and get a gist of it in your mind, and just it's like get a little say image of the passage in your mind, where the important words are, if there are any terms, if there are any say theories discussed or something of that sort, and then you go to the questions. And when you come to the questions, the passage will be next to the question, so you don't have to scroll up and down, unlike in our study material when you're using the PDF. So when you are coming to the questions, then you go into the particular part where the question, where you can find the answer. And always read the question very carefully, mark the keywords so that you don't go wrong. Maybe the question is asking something and you're thinking something else. That happens a lot of times. Yeah. So maybe the question is asking you which is not the point which the author has raised, or which is the argument that the author will not agree with. Yeah, so that those are a little analytical. You have to be very careful with those questions. We will move on to do a few exercises. We won't do the reading comprehension till Deepshika ma'am does it. So Deepshika ma'am will be taking your reading comprehension portion again. And for those who haven't done, yes, Mansi?
Ma'am, I solved the para jumbles in volume 1, like the first exercise. But the thing is that the paragraphs over there are big enough, like in assembling that. And also, I'm not getting a handover which should connect, like the connecting words. They, or what is the first and opening sentence and the last sentence. Because the exercises we did a year on in the class, I was able to solve. But the same when I started to do on the practice set, the books one, I was not able to grab it, or I was having some different answers than the.
Yeah. Okay. You may be having different answers. That's where your you have to because what happened was that I deliberately included some difficult questions in the book. So when you go from a higher difficulty level and then you go into your exam, which is of a moderate difficulty level, your analytical skills are already developed. So this was to develop your analytical skills. So your analysis has to be a little bit of the higher level. Yeah. So now, did you go through the options through? So were the questions some?
Not the option
Just a minute.
questions, ma'am. One's like multiple choice questions. I was going through the sets that you have to write the answers over.
You have to
Like
write the
five.
answers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are a little bit difficult because nothing is given to you. So can you give me any one question which you thought you didn't get the answer?
Ma'am, in question 4, I thought
Question
that
4. There is practice exercise 2, question 4, or practice exercise 1?
practice exercise 1, question 4.
Practice exercise 1, question 4. Okay. Yeah.
So here, basically, I thought that 4 is the opening sentence, like the starting sentence, because it was explaining about nitrogen. But the answer given in the back was it was opening from 5. But it is
5,
saying
4,
about
5, 3, 4, 2, 1. Okay, let's see.
yes.
5, 3, 4, 2, 1. Okay, so I'll just read out the question for everyone to follow. The first one says, before plants can take life from atmosphere, nitrogen must undergo transformation similar to ones that food undergoes in our digestive machinery. So this is talking about before plants can take life from atmosphere, nitrogen must undergo transformations. So, okay, now second one says, in its aerial form, nitrogen is insoluble, unusable, as in need of transformation. Now, if you look at 1 and 2, do you find a connection between 1 and 2?
Ma'am, I find
2
more.
says nitrogen is insoluble. Yeah. And 1 says before plants can take in nitrogen, it must undergo transformation. Right? So we can say that two should come first, 1 follows 2. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the others. So it's important, even if you don't get the introduction and conclusion in the first go, look at the sentences which can go together. Right? Now 3 says, lightning starts the series of chemical reactions that need to happen to nitrogen, ultimately helping it nourish the earth. So this nitrogen has to go into the earth and lightning helps it to go into the earth. Nitrogen, an essential food for plants, is an abundant resource with about 22 million tons of it floating over each square mile of earth. Yeah. One of the most dramatic examples in nature of ill wind that blows goodness is lightning. Now, if you look at sentence number 5, one of the most dramatic examples in nature of ill wind that blows goodness is lightning. So, which is out of all these, which is the most general statement? Number 5.
Yes, ma'am, but I was confused with 4 because in the 4, the last the second sentence says that with about 22 million tons of it floating over each square mile of earth.
Yeah.
So it is giving a general information that nitrogen
now,
is
nitrogen and essential. Now this is going into specific. Now this is talking about nitrogen is essential for plants. Right?
okay.
If you look at 5, it's talking about lightning. Nitrogen hasn't come in as yet. Now this 5 is talking about lightning. Which other sentence is talking about lightning?
The third
That's
one.
number 3. So 3 is where nitrogen is introduced and
Yes.
lightning is associated with it. So we can say 5 and 3 can go together.
Yes,
and we've already said 2 and 1 go together. And nitrogen is essential for plants, will come before 2. You got the logic now?
Yes, ma'am, I got it.
Yeah. So you have to be a little analytical, get the logic correct. Go when you read the sentences, just see first thing you do is get your pairs. then look for the sentence which gives you the most general idea. Now, the most general idea will usually be in the opening sentence. Now, what is the idea that connects to that general idea? So, what follows? So, you just have to go on with what follows. Yeah.
No, I was just confused about the nitrogen part of the fifth sentence.
So, if you see, the fifth sentence just introduces, just tells us that lightning is important. And if you look at 3, lightning starts the series of chemical reactions that need to happen to nitrogen, ultimately helping it to nourish our earth. Right? So that is a little specific, but still general compared to the other sentences. So you go from general to second level general, then to specific. Yeah. Okay. So 1 minute, let me first share the screen. So in the worksheet 13 on parajumbles, no, there's no one has any problems. Worksheet 13, the last one that we did. Okay. So I presume no one has any problems. We can move on to today's session then. Okay, so I hope everyone can see the PDF. Okay. Is the PDF clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now these are questions which are related to the vocabulary portion. There's a grammar we've done. We've done the vocabulary relating to sentence completion. There is the words, filling in the words. Now here we have the ones that Deepshika ma'am, the sessions that Deepshika ma'am has already taken. So we will do some revision exercises of questions from the previous year's papers. So these will be related to words, idioms, synonyms, antonyms, and the analogies. Okay. Okay. So okay, question number 1. Now here you have to complete the sentences choosing the most appropriate words or phrases from the options given. So question number 1 and 2, these 2 questions are on your screen. Everyone can see them clearly? Okay, just solve these 2 and give me your answer. I think these questions were from your 2022 in the paper. Anyone with the answers? And you have to be a little fast. So, yes, Mansi?
Send it on the chat.
Send me on the chat. Just a moment. Where is the chat? Okay. Let's see, ENC. Anybody else with the answers? Rahul. Okay. Agrima?
Ma'am, I sent you.
You sent me. Okay. Satvika?
I've actually solved these questions already because they are from last year's paper. So
Yeah. Anyway, you can give us your expert opinions on the questions.
should I send you the solutions in
Yeah,
chat?
you can send me. Okay, so now the first one, Agrima says A, Rahul says A, Mansi also says A. Okay, Rahul has done number 3 also. Satvika says A. Yeah, so here we are talking about spies and they work as secretaries or researchers, and hiding in plain sight would be the only one, not hiding documents. So others we can easily eliminate. Okay, so ever since British won the prestigious Infosys Prize, he had been behaving. I think we had done this in class. I think so, yeah. So so what can be eliminated about his behavior? He had been behaving what? Now here, what is the correct answer, Satvika? It's B, condescendingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mansi, you said C, overly. Yes, Mansi?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I've not gone through that chapters. It's like the videos, but
So
I just tried with this.
so this is just like you have to figure out which word fits in, right? So you will not now would ambitiously fit in.
No,
Ever
ma'am.
since he won the prestigious Infosys award, he has been behaving how? So he has been behaving ambitiously will not be, overly will not really fit in. Controversially is absolutely wrong. Now overly would be like he is becoming very proud or something of that sort. Condescendingly is his behavior is a little odd. Yeah. So that would really fit in. Okay, number 3 and 4, Rahul, I think you have to answer for number 3. Agrima says 3B, okay. Mansi, do you have number 3? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Mansi's got Agrima 4A, okay. So 3 says flying this simple aeroplane is a dash for the experienced pilot. Means it's something very easy. Very easy idiomatic expression would be piece of cake. Number 4. A, 4E, okay. Right. So number 4, when you talk about number 4, for the past 3 decades, this chain of coffee shops has been committed to building a culture where everyone is welcome. So the moment you see everyone in welcome, the inclusivity and diversity comes in. It's not discriminatory or discretionary. Mindfulness and objectivity doesn't really fit in, right? Okay, number 5. 5B, 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 yes. Yes, 5B is the correct answer. Leela is always nasty and inconsiderate with her colleagues. Now that she has a root superior, she is getting dash. So, a taste of her own medicine. When we say a taste of your own medicine, it means that you get back what you do, right? Okay, number 6 now. Six and 7, both you can do. Both are related to idiomatic expressions.
Ma'am, so all of these questions are from last year's papers or mixed?
Yeah. So I picked up the questions from the last 4 years papers and compiled them together. So these are the ones we haven't done so far, the topics we haven't done so far. Rather, I would say the topics you've done with Deepshika ma'am.
Order.
Right? Some of the questions you may have come across in your book, in the study material. Some of them may not have been there. Okay, question number 6. Yes, the correct answer is D. Yeah. So look down upon. She looks down upon. It won't be look up to. When you look up to it, it will be a positive thing. Yeah. When you look up to somebody is when. So okay. Now tell me. I won't tell you the meaning. What does it mean by when you say look up to somebody?
To respect someone.
To respect somebody, somebody who is an ideal, who you would be wanting to follow. Look towards, that's not really an idiomatic expression, but look towards is when you are actually looking at something. Look away from,
neglecting a situation.
Neglecting a situation. Okay, number 7, your answer is A. I still have 2 more difficult exams left, but I am trying to dash. After these, I won't have any more for a year. So I have 2 difficult exams left, but I am trying to something. So among these, look on the bright side, that I am trying to be positive. I think upon the sunny side. Now that is not an idiomatic expression. Look forward to the bright side doesn't really fit in. Think about the sunny side is also not an idiomatic expression. Look forward to the bright side of something would do, but look on the bright side would be better. Okay. Now let's look at, now here in these sentences, your directions are always read the directions that come in. In each of the following sentences, incorrect part of the sentence is underlined. Choose an alternative from the 4 given options so the sentence is rendered correct. So in some way the sentence would be wrong, either grammatically, idiomatically. So you have to figure out which the correct option would be. Okay. Yeah, number 8, your answer is B. If I had known that you needed to go to the airport, I could is wrong over here. I would have driven you there. Right? Remember we did this, the hypothetical situation where you would use would. Okay, number 9, most of you have your answers. Okay, yes, number 9, the answer is A. The principal and professors are authorized to sanction leave to a student provided she will have a good attendance record. Will is wrong here. She has a good attendance record is correct. Okay, number 10. Anybody else to give me the answer to number 10? Rahul?
B.
B. Okay, number
D,
10 we
D.
have, okay, D.
D.
D, Rahul says A. A and D. Okay, let's see. When all words on the page got scrambled, she quickly pressed undo, after which the document reverted back to its original state. So, Agrima, can you tell me what is wrong with this sentence?
Ma'am, there's a repetition because
Yeah,
reverted and back.
reverted means going back. So we won't use reverted back. Reverted back is repetition. So we will go with D, reverted to its original state. Yes,
And
Rahul, got it?
Also the it is.
Yeah, it is. So it won't be.
Ma'am, but isn't reverted back a phrasal verb too?
No, we don't use, yeah, we do use it in common usage, but that's grammatically incorrect. You don't revert back because what is the meaning of revert?
Yeah, that I know. The meaning of
Yeah.
revert is to get back.
Yeah,
You
get
can't
back
use
to
back and revert
something.
together.
Yeah. So the usage is wrong grammatically. So revert and yes, Rahul, you chose A. Did you read A properly?
Yeah, I actually read not that it is.
So
Yeah.
whenever you come across the word ITS with or without an apostrophe, first see whether it is correctly used or not. Never make that silly mistake. Very bad. You'll get a -1 without any reason. So something you could have avoided. Okay, let's look at this one. We have to replace the underlined part with a better word. Can do 11 and 12. 11 everyone has got already. Everyone's got 11, 12. Satvika, Mansi, Agrima. Rahul?
Yes, ma'am.
Rahul's got 11. You got 12, Rahul? Okay, Rahul, in number 11, you said C. And Satvika, you no number.
I said A.
Okay, Satvika, Mansi, you said A. Okay, so Rahul, can you read the sentence? Now, always when you are replacing any underlined portion or if you have a blank and you have to choose an option, always plug in that option into the sentence and read the sentence. So Rahul, can you read the sentence with caught?
His talk on heritage site has caught my interest.
So it picked up my interest and caught my interest. Would caught be the correct word or aroused be the correct word?
I think caught because
you
use caught with attention, interest, and imagination, and arouse is used for feelings.
So here we are talking about interest. Does it catch your interest or does it arouse your interest?
Catch.
Catch your attention, arouse your interest. You won't say caught your interest, right? So it will correct answer will be A. Okay, number 12. 12, your answer would be A. 1 minute, we can go through the answers. 12A, 12A, yes. 12 is A. he was having a difficult time, but never once he complained. That here it is wrong. Never once did he complain would be the correct idiomatic phrase. Okay. Okay, now here we come up with usage of words. One of the statements below contains a word used incorrectly. Choose the option which has the incorrect or inappropriate usage of the word. So read the 4 sentences. You will find one word which is common to all 4. So you have to choose the one which is incorrectly used. Yes, Satvika, Mansi. Agrima? Yes, everyone's got the answer. The correct answer is B. If you so the word in question is spot. That is a common word in all of them, right? There was a scenic spot not very far from our cottage. That is correct. Such a spot on his career. So, what is the word that would come instead of spot over here?
Position on his career.
Huh?
I guess position, like career is different.
Did you read the entire sentence?
Yes, ma'am. Like I know spot is not correct because of the given career and the promotion thing.
So such a spot on his career was difficult to ignore when deciding promotion. So something negative that happened which affected. So instead of spot, a similar word could be a blot on his career, right? Something negative would go in as blot instead of spot. Okay. So number 14, who's got 14? Mansi's got 14. Yes, everyone's got C. Okay, yes, you are correct. When you are using the word collaborate, it means teaming up with somebody and like contributing to something. When women were asked to join the protest, they refused to collaborate, that is join in. Some treacherous relatives of Indian rulers collaborated with the British Empire, that's also correct. She interviewed many teens to collaborate her thesis on their mental health issues. So here it is not talking about joining in. What would the word be instead over here? Any idea?
Now I had a doubt in a question like this. When we have to find out the inappropriate usage of word, do we also consider the cases where the word is used in the wrong form? For example, if the sentence, in my opinion, if the sentence would have been, she interviewed many teams to collaborate on her thesis.
Yeah, on her thesis would be correct, but she interviewed many teams to collaborate her thesis is wrong. Here it would be to collate her thesis.
Conclude.
Right? Pardon?
Conclude.
Conclude her thesis could also come in. She interviewed many teens to conclude her thesis on their mental health issues. So she was writing a thesis and she wanted to collect data. So that's where she interviewed the teens. So here collaborate doesn't come in. Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to ask that is it right for us to choose an option based on the fact that there is some preposition or some article missing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if say collaborate with would be correct, collaborate on would be wrong.
Okay.
Right? Okay, number 15 also everyone's got. 15, everyone says D. Okay, let's see. It was a long, so which was a word that you were looking for?
Cross.
Cross the river, help them to cross the river. We were told that she had lived through tough times which made her cross and angry and cranky. So here if you see the cross, the meaning of the word is different, but cross is correct. Cross and cranky is like she was always angry. The mistakes of his youth are the cross that he has to bear. Here also the meaning is different. So these are all homonyms, the same word but different meanings. So the cross that he had to bear, when you talk about the cross that Jesus hung, or an incident that would always bear with him, he has to go along with. Although he thinks he is in the life of the party, his remarks are insensitive and his jokes are vulgar, cross and crude. So here cross doesn't come in. Okay. Now we have 16 and 17. Here also you'll have to choose a word. Now there were quite a lot of these questions in the 2022 paper. So in 16, the word that you're looking for would be flout or flaunt or fault. Okay, 16C, 17C. Okay, I think everyone's got your answers. Rahul, you can come in with your answer to number 17. Nancy's got 17. Okay, Agrimya, can you explain your answer to number 16?
Ma'am, the word should be flaunt instead of flout, because flout means to break the rules, kind
Break
of,
the rules, yeah.
and that doesn't fit.
So flouted the dress code is okay. Flout tradition, flouting rules is fine, but here it will be flaunt her dress, not flout. And number 17, Mansi, can you explain number 17?
Ma'am, the others are, it's like documents is we say drawer of the cupboard or drawer of the cupboard. And also that other are making more sense.
He used to keep all his documents in the drawer, not the drawer, but the drawer. So drawer would be correct. Okay, so let's move on quickly. Number 18 is a similar question. Okay, here we have, okay, 1 minute. Word use connected to the option which is the incorrect and incorrect. So in this case, you don't have the, you have the same word.
It is state.
State, yeah. State is the word. So everyone's got your answer to this? Okay. Oh, yes, Rahul, can you explain your answer?
Ma'am, A, B, and C, all three sentences made more sense. So I think it's a.
So you won't say to be of a great state and refinement. So here the meaning doesn't really fit in. Yeah. Uttar Pradesh is a populated state, is correct. The magistrate asked the prosecution lawyer to state the grounds, that is, mention the grounds. The state or the condition of health, that is also correct. So A is the only one which is wrong. So anybody who hasn't got A, Mansi?
Yes,
You've written B in 18.
Yes, ma'am. I actually thought that others are talking about more of like a feeling or emotion type thing. Means like facts.
No, see, the point of these questions is that the word as used in the particular sentence should be correct. So the
Ma'am, I
same word
overlooked
state, the word state can be used in different meanings, right? It could be the a state as in a state of India, as a geographical state. Great state of refinement, here it doesn't fit in. When you say a condition of refinement is not the answer. State in C means to mention. State in D means condition. So the word as written should fit in correctly. Okay, number 19. I'll put the answers here. Okay. 19. This seems to be a little confusing, yeah? The impatient and intolerant mother made every effort to complete the following sentence by choosing the appropriate word or phrase. So here we are not looking for the wrong one. We are looking for the appropriate word or phrase. Okay, let's look at number 19. I think most of you have said B. Okay, those of you who have selected B, can you read the sentence with the phrase 19B?
Ma'am, I didn't choose anything, but child's life, I don't think so. Like child's life.
Child's will not be lives.
Yes, child's life.
Child's life would be correct. The impatient mother and impatient and intolerant mother made every effort to do what? Dominate the child's lives is incorrect.
Option A.
Domineer her children. Domineer her children. You won't domineer anybody. Domineer doesn't come in as a proper verb in this case. Dominate could be. Dominion is not correct. Dominate her children would be the correct verb, not A, domineer, or B is dominate would be correct, but child's lives would be incorrect. Right? Okay, number 20, we have got B.
How could be denominate her children?
Denominate?
Yeah, the option C is not dominate.
Denominate. I read it as dominate. Sorry. Oh, thank you. So we will go with domineer because that's the closest it comes to. Domineering. She is domineering. She domineers her children. Really fit in, but it's better than the others. So the more closest we can get is with A, not denominate. Sorry, I messed up with this. It won't be dominate, of course. Denominate, sorry. So yes, we will go with A because that's the only available option that is left. Right? So sometimes you can get into these questions where maybe you think it is not the clear verb that you want, but eliminating other options will lead you to one option which is the only one that is available. Okay, number 20, BB. Anybody else with 20? Mansi, Agrima, Rahul?
I gave the answer.
Yes. Satvika, were you? Okay, number 20. We are looking at B, right? To avoid the ecological issues, scientists and government agencies consider how sustainable development affects the citizen. Yeah. Now, if you remember the difference between affects and effects, Rahul, what's the difference between effects and affects?
Ma'am, to act on a change is affect, whereas when something is actually done, the change is effect.
The change is
change,
effect. So effect will always come in as a noun, while affect will always come in as a verb. Yeah. If you find something is being done, that is the effect, and something which has which comes in as a noun would be effect. So in this case, the sustainable development affects the citizens, and sustainable development is doing something. And if we say the sustainable development has an, then effect will come in. Has an effect on the citizens, then noun form will come in. So here we have the verb form. Okay. Now 21, 22, 23. Here also you have to complete the sentences with the appropriate phrases. So these are idiomatic expressions. Yes, Mansi's got some answers. Thank you, Agrima. Rahul, you've given me answer for 22 or 21?
22.
22. And what about 21? So, so Rahul, are you done with 21? So we can discuss?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put in your answer, or you can just tell me your answer. Other people have already given their answers. So Rahul, what do you think of 21?
Option A.
A foot away. When you what do you say when you are keeping say keeping away from trouble? Keeping trouble at
Arm's length.
Arm's length. At arm's length. That is the idiom that you would be using. That is, you keep away from, keep something away from you. So not a foot away. That is not an idiomatic expression. At base length is not used in this case. Out of harm's way is different. That is, you keep yourself out of harm's way. That is out of something dangerous. I now have more productive time during the day because I keep the office gossips at arm's length. That is, I stay away from.
Ma'am, what is the proper usage for at base length?
At base length is usually used in a wider sense.
In what
It
terms?
does like you keep trouble away, or you keep it's usually used with trouble, something negative. Yeah. At arm's length is the one which you use on a personal level. Okay. So 22 we have A, yeah. 22A, that's something we usually use. We need to cut down our expenses so that we are able to make ends meet. Tie up loose ends is not what would come in here.
Ma'am, when will we choose tie up the loose ends? Like in what sentences will we?
Tie up loose ends is when you pick when something is all scattered and you pick up um, from where you left and try to arrange things. So there you would use tie up the loose ends. So maybe you are in a mess about a lot of things. Maybe you had a fight with your friend and you want to mediate. So tie up the loose ends. That is, put things in order.
Okay, ma'am.
Right? Tax compliant is completely out of scope. So, okay, 23. Anybody's got the answer to 23? B. Right. So 23, we got B. Portion of the house collapsed because the contractor cut corners and built it with very poor quality material. So cut corners is an idiom which shows to cut down on something, to not give something the full something which it requires. Short change places is not an idiomatic expression. Bite the bullet doesn't fit in over here. Made a fortune doesn't fit in over here. Anybody who knows what bite the bullet means?
I think it means to die.
Not really to die, but
to do
close
something,
to.
to do
Yes?
something bad, or like something unpleasant.
Yeah, something unpleasant, something you don't want to do, but you have to do it. Then you would say bite the bullet.
I think I compared it to kick the bucket or something like that.
Hit the bucket would, what would hit the bucket mean?
That there's this one thing that my grandma kicked the bucket
Ah,
last week.
yeah, so left. So instead of saying directly that she died, you would use, but bite the bullet means to do something which you don't really want to do, something unpleasant which you are forced to do. So here cut the corners would be correct. Okay. Now complete the following sentence by choosing the appropriate word or phrases from the options below. Okay, this is also the same thing. Number 24. Okay, Satvika's got the answer. So I think everyone's got this one. So 24 would be on a roll. Our team has won every single match they have played. They seem to be on a roll. Now, rolling in luck is not an idiom. Rolling in money could be, but that is when you have a lot of money and like too much to handle. On a roll is when you are successful continuously. On a roller coaster, what would on a roller coaster mean? Anybody agree, Ma?
Mom, change in situations, like change in
Changing
emotions.
situations, yeah. On a roller coaster, he's on a roller coaster in his emotions, or his condition is, or his success is on a roller coaster, that is ups and downs. Okay, so now here we have some more of the usage of words. One of the statements below contains a word used incorrectly. Choose the option which has incorrect or inappropriate usage of the word. So 25, 26, I think both of them you can give me the answers. So everyone thinks it's 25D.
Yes.
Grima, Mansi, Satvika, Rahul. Rahul says 25C. Okay, let's look at number 25 then. We have C and D as our answers. Now the word is climate.
Oh, ma'am, sorry, it is G, it is C.
Sure.
I actually read it. I read it wrong.
Okay, so we have D. Now climactic scene is correct. It is talking about the scene at the climax, right? And here we are talking about climatic. We won't have climactic changes from summer to winter, right? Okay, number 26, who all give me the answer? B, C, anybody else with 26? Well, let's see what we are looking at. The lives of the little princess in the large castle in the rich city were luxurious. The rooms were adorned with luxuriant trimmings of gold. They were handsome men who were distinguished by their luxuriant golden dresses. The cruise ship was of medium size, but the suites were very luxurious. Okay, so we have two words here, luxurious and luxuriant. So, I think I have done this question somewhere in your book. Okay, Mansi, you said C. And Agrima says B.
I'm not quite sure with this answer.
Satvika says B. Yeah. So we are a little confused between B and C. So Satvika, can you explain your answer?
Actually, luxuriant, I'm not really sure what it exactly means or what is the proper usage for it. But I knew that the answer was between B and C because A and D were proper. The reason that I chose B as my answer is because I think trimmings of gold, I think it means like pieces or some small sticks of gold, something like
Here
that.
we are talking about rooms were adorned with luxuriant trimmings of gold. So now when you're talking about luxuriant, how is luxuriant actually used? Luxuriant gold treasures. Okay, I think we could look it up. Sure. I'm also a little confused. So luxuriant is usually used with rich, elegant, expensive things. Yeah, that's luxurious. Luxuriant is usually used with rich, lush, abundant, growing things, something that grows. So luxuriant growth of a plant, luxuriant growth of, so here golden tresses means the hair, luxuriant growth of the hair. So luxuriant will go with growth, and luxurious would be associated with things which are rich, elegant, etc. Right? So that is the difference. So when you're talking about luxuriant, it won't be gold trimmings, it will be luxurious gold trimmings over here. Right? So C is correct as it is used. B is the one which is wrong. Correct? Okay, let's see. Okay, so here, what is the word we are looking for? We have intensive and intense in number 27. Anybody else with the answer to 27? I've got Mansi, I've got Satvika. Satrima. Okay, so I've got Mansi says C, Satvika, Agrima and Rahul say A for 27. Okay, you can give me 28 also, and we'll discuss both of them together.
I guess 27 is A also. Like I gave the wrong answer. I know I gave C, but I guess it is
In
A.
27, you think it's B? Okay. Okay, 28, I've got one answer. Anybody else with number 28? Now we have two words in 28, a praise and a prize. Everyone done? Okay, let's see. Number 27, our answer would be A. The king, now we have intensive and intense. What do you mean by intensive? Anybody? Agrima, what do you mean by intensive?
Detailed.
Detailed, right. When in depth, when you're talking about intensive study. And what do you mean by intense?
Just high in degree.
High in degree, something which is like too much, you can say. So the king was under intense pressure would be correct, not intensive pressure. The subtext loathing of the cruel emperor was intense, that is correct. Without intensive study, that is wide study, the intense debate, the say the strong debate or the intensity of the debate was very high, that would be correct. Okay, now coming to 28. 28, most of you have answered D. Yeah, D is correct. So we have two words over here, appraise and apprise. So what's the difference between appraise and apprise, anybody? Rahul?
Appraise is to appreciate and apprise is to tell or inform.
Yeah, appraise would be not only to appreciate, but to give a value to something. It could be set a value to something, or to value something as such. And apprise means to tell something, or to to apprise somebody would be to make somebody up to date with the condition or information, something of that sort. So the soldiers returned to the camp to appraise the commander would be incorrect. It should be apprise the commanding officer, right? Okay, let's look at this. I think we had done this somewhere, right? Between the whole year, and now I'm a little confused. Anyway, 28 and 30 you can do. You have to complete the sentences. These are all idiomatic expressions that you are dealing with. So figure out which will not be an, now if you exactly don't know the meaning, at least you can figure out which is not an idiomatic expression. Okay. Okay, so we've got most of your answers. Now coming to 29. If you look at the sentence, it came as a shock to me that my neighbor, that my friend had lost his dash in a moment of madness as he lent all of it to his neighbor. So lost all his, most probably his savings or wealth, something to do with money. Yeah. Now, if you nest and eggs will not really fit in. Bird's nest, he didn't have a bird's nest probably. Nestled eggs, no. Nest egg would be the correct answer. Nest egg means savings. So that's an idiomatic expression which refers to your life savings. So he lost his life savings in a moment of madness. Okay, now coming to 30. During the debate, when the minister appeared to be vague about his stand on the controversial energy project, his opponent asked him to dash and declare outright if the government would go ahead with the project or not. Yeah. So what did the minister want? The minister appeared to be vague about his stand. The opponent asked him to be clear and declare. something to do with clear, that is to be clear about what he was. Now here we are talking about vague, so we need something opposite of clear, opposite of vague. Yeah, so your answer would be it would be cut the chase. Cut the chase means to come to the point, right? To be clear about what he was trying to say. Okay, so who got it right? Yeah. Now, to be cut to the face means, what would that mean?
To be honest.
To be honest, to be like, if you say to call a spade a spade. Curb the fuss, that isn't really idiomatic. It would mean to put an end to something which is false. Cut globe, I haven't heard of that as an idiomatic expression. Could be cut globe, to cut the distance or to come to the point. No, that doesn't mean come to the point. Okay, number 31. All of you have got your answers. 31C. Let's see. Steal the thunder. It is irritating when co-workers dismiss your ideas as worthless and later present those ideas as their own. They just want to steal the thunder. Steal the thunder means, now steal your credit is not idiomatic, though it could go in, but it is not an idiomatic expression. Steal your crown is not an idiomatic expression. Steal your thunder means to take away the credit which you own. Okay, now we have a few more here. Rahul Satyakant. Okay, so we've got most of the answers. So we have 32C. Anyone else on 32? 32C. Okay, 33B, B, 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 34A. Okay, I suppose these would be correct. 32C, 33B, and 34A. So let's see if it's correct. What do you think, Satvika? Before the start of the meeting, I am dash on the latest development. I am going to share on. Now we have on over here. Yeah. Taking you through on, no. Share on, no. Going to explain on, no. So even if we are not sure, we know that this, they will always give you some clue if the options seem to be confusing. So you have to look for the clue. So C is the only one going to bring you up to speed on the latest developments fits in. Okay, now in denial about. So despite statistics to prove that there was a slowdown, now here we have despite, so something contrasting, was a slowdown in the economy of the country. The professor was dash about it. In affirmation will not be, because we have something negative. In protest about, no. In shock about, no. In denial about it would be correct. And 34, okay, Mansi, you say B. Shared meaning on. Mansi, shared meaning on is not an idiomatic expression. right?
Yes, ma'am. I noticed it afterwards. that
You
blue
won't
light
say
on.
shed meaning. You could say shed light on, but shed meaning on will not be. Throw light on would be. After the unearthing of relics of the archaeological site, the historian was asked to throw light on the significance of the discovery. Turn light on is not. Focus meaning on is not. A is the only one which is correct. Okay, 35 is the last one in the sheet. Yeah, I've got a green Mansi. Okay. So I think Mansi, Agrima, and okay, Agrima, have you changed your answer now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That was.
Yeah, so here we are looking, one thing you have to remember is when you are looking at your options, see if you've got idiomatic expressions. If you have idiomatic expressions, don't go with the one which are simple phrases stating the meaning of it. So here we have pass muster as the idiomatic expression, which means to be competent enough. The standards set by the examination board are so high that it would be difficult for poorly prepared students to pass muster, to get through, right? To be competent enough to get through, that is what we are getting over here. Okay, so these were good enough for you? You want to do some more? Or you want to take a little break? Anyone wants a break? Or do you want to continue?
We could continue.
Okay. Good morning, Rakhi ma'am. Do you have a class here? Okay, I'll just stop sharing and we'll go into another sheet. Okay, I hope you can see the screen. This is worksheet 15. These are also mostly questions from previous year's papers. Yeah. So there were lots of vocabulary related questions. So yours also we have the using the word incorrectly. So I think you people can pick up speed now. Okay, we've got Agrima and Satvika. I think the others are struggling to get back in. Anyway, we'll discuss these. So Satvika, number 1, you said D. Yeah?
Yes.
Can you explain?
It should be urban without an E.
Yeah. So what do you think urbane means?
Urbane is something like refined or
Refined,
quality
yeah.
of a person.
Polished, refined. It talks about a quality of a person. You won't talk about 70% of the people living in urban areas. It's urban areas. Yeah. Okay. Number 2, Agrima. You said C, right? So what was the word you were looking for?
Ingenious.
Ingenious. I think we had come across these words earlier, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Had we done the same question or was it a different question? My memory fails me, but I remember the words. Yeah, so you said C. Now you have two words, ingenious, or we have just one word, ingenious, coming in everywhere. What does ingenious mean?
Very, clever or
Clever, innovative. So you can break it down into genius. So that would be ingenious, would be clever, innovative. Now the young man lost all his savings because he was rather clever, innovative is wrong. Here we could come in with the words such as say ingenuous with Neous, yeah, which would mean innocent or knave, right? Okay. Now let's look at 3 and 4. Yes, any answers? Agrima, what do you think?
ma'am, actually, for third it's C, but for the fourth one I was confused a little.
Okay.
I mean, I'm figuring it out, but
okay, try to read the sentences and see how all together comes in. Number 3 also you have to read it a little. Yeah, number 3, I think you are correct. Okay, how come everyone else has disappeared with network problem?
ma'am, I can't figure out the fourth one. Could you help?
Okay, let's see. And the fourth one says, it is a pleasure when we are all together for a meal at home. then her son is not interested in watching movies, which is an altogether bad thing. Yeah, the 300 guests sat all together in the larger dining hall of the hotel. The facilitator asked the participants to stand up all together. Yeah, now if you see all together, how is it used in a everyone?
Like everyone.
We are everyone or everything, everyone. In the second one, it says her son is not interested in watching movies, which is not altogether a bad thing. This should be a single word.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
so on the whole, a bad thing. So this is the one which is using altogether in the wrong way. The others, or the three guests sat all together, that is coming
I
together.
actually went with the pronunciation, like what when you hear, and by the hearing thing, all four seemed right. That's why I didn't focus on the spelling difference.
Yeah. So A, B, A, C, and D are talking about everyone coming together. Yeah, and B is talking about on the whole. So here, if you replace on the whole altogether, it should be on the whole, which is on the whole not a bad thing. Yeah, and here number 3C you've got correct. It should be ordinance. ORDNANCE. Ordinance means, what does ordinance mean?
Kind of like a rule or a law.
Rule, regulation, law. So here military aircraft can be used to carry a wide variety of ordnance. So ordnance means ammunition. Yeah. So when you talk about ordnance factory, you must have heard. Yeah, where ammunition is produced. So that's what ordnance is. The spelling would be ORDNANCE. Okay, just a moment. Okay, I'll just scroll up to 5, 6. So can you do these two? By the time I can figure out with Jyoti ma'am what the problem is.
Ma'am, 5C and 6A.
You say 5C.
Yes.
And 6A.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if it's correct. So here we have the sickness of a family member can affect the lives of everyone at home. Kerala was affected by severe nude all the year through. That's correct. Taking this medicine for a prolonged period can have severe after effects. This will be effect. Yeah. The popular star was not a natural actor. His style was rather affected. So his style was not proper. It was affected by something. So C would be correct. Okay, now coming to 6. Okay. After all the alliances and arithmetic, the party is likely to dash a majority in the assembly election. Now, what do you mean by scrape through?
It means to succeed, like just succeed.
Just succeed. That is, just get through to barely get through. Yeah. So scrape through
Yes.
would be something like barely get through. Yeah. So what do we need over here? Look at the entire sentence. Does it give you some clue?
Yes, ma'am. It says after all the alliances, like after all the tactics, the party is likely to script the majority. Like, just
Would you say scrape through a majority? Scrape through would really be like you are scraping through your exam or scraping through a difficult situation. Scraping through a majority, does it make sense?
yes, ma'am. But actually, I thought tape together and shape together didn't fit
Like
as
after
well. That's
all
why I went.
alliances and arithmetic, that should be your clue. All alliances and arithmetic, that is, it is getting together people to form a majority. So barely getting, it is getting to a majority, wouldn't be barely scraping through something. So if I said that he got 100 votes and barely scraped through the election, that would be correct. But here it is saying after all the alliances and arithmetic, the party is likely to scrape together. So barely getting together, right? Barely getting together a majority would be a better answer.
Okay, so tape
Right?
together and shape together are wrong, right?
Yeah, tape together, shape together doesn't make sense at all in this context.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Actually, scrape through is more commonly used,
Yeah,
and I
scrape through
thought
is more
C and D are
commonly
just
used.
wrong.
Hmm.
That's why I went with A.
If you
But
said
yes,
scrape, now scrape through would usually be scrape through an event. Yeah, so scrape through the examinations, scrape through the elections, but scrape through a majority, especially when you, and if you are any doubt, look at the context. After all the alliances and arithmetic, that is getting together people, the party is likely to scrape together, getting together. That would be a better option than scrape through,
yes, ma'am.
right? Okay. Now, if you look at number 7 and 8,
I think D. I'm not really sure of the idiomatic expression, but
number
I'll go.
7, you go with D. Okay. Number 8, you do both of them, then we'll discuss.
Okay. 8 is D.
8 is D.
D.
Okay. So let's see. Played by the year. Okay, I'll have to dash because I don't know how Sheila's parents are going to react to this offer. So means there's an uncertainty.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Don't know how they are going to react. And but this person is saying that I'll have to say count on my instincts maybe.
Yes, ma'am.
If you were to use, now if you're not sure, you try to put in something which a paraphrase or a phrase or word which you think should fit in, and then look at the idioms given to you and see which one means the same. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So
Now going by instinct, something to do with instinct, right? So if you're talking about something to do with instinct, count on my fingers will not be correct. Count on my fingers is like you know exactly how many, right?
okay.
Face the music means face the consequences, right? That would not be correct. Break the ice means
Just to come over with the initial shyness.
initial shyness. You are doing away with that. You are conducting a session and maybe all new people. So you do some exercise or some small talk to break the ice. Play it by ear means follow your instincts, right? So ear, what type of sense is something that you hear, but idiomatically it would be follow your instincts. Okay, number 8, if you see, if you had been more alert, this golden opportunity would not have slipped through your fingers, that is, you would not have missed out on it. It wouldn't have, like, it's like you have it, but it is gone. So slip through your fingers is correct. Escape your fingers is literal, that we are not looking for. Slipped off is also quite literal. Escaped away is literal. So slipped through your fingers would be the idiomatic expression.
Yes,
right? Okay. Now you want to do 9, 10?
Yeah, and then yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
9 is C.
9 is C. Okay.
And 10 is B. Just a second. I actually don't know the meaning of TEEMAD. C and D are right. It's just A and B.
So what do you think would be? You have TEEM and TEAM.
Yes.
They're two different meanings.
Yeah, team meaning I think paired.
Yeah, team is paired. That is, you are in a team with lots of other people or paired up with somebody else. So now, which team will win is okay. The film star wore a purple suit teamed with a crimson tie is also okay. Now, which one is not okay? The river teemed with salpin and now team, TEEM, team means full of. That is, like teamed would be like lots of. Some where you find a lot of, that is full of, or full of. So the river was full of salmon and trout. So that would be TEEM. Now when we come to TEAM, the wedding was teamed in Bhojpuri style. It should be TEM in Bhojpuri style. That is was full of Bhojpuri style. So B is our wrong word. So that is our answer. Yeah. And in number 9, why did you go with C?
Because it should be critique and not critic.
Yeah, this should be critique. The other words are correctly used. Okay, I think how come everyone is having a network problem? I'm not able to get in again. Okay, we'll see, we'll continue anyway. Okay, it's already 12. Okay, do you want to do just the last 2 before I leave you? And I'll share the worksheets or we may continue tomorrow.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, just maybe the last number 11. So I'll know from number 12 onwards we'll do tomorrow.
B. Option
It's
B.
Option B or D?
B. B for ball.
B for ball. Okay. So here we have one of the same. The last week we learned about the right way to greet our customers. Get it right the first time. In India, driving on the right side of the road, the right of afternoon tea is describing. So yeah, here it will be RIGHT instead of WRITE. The right of afternoon tea, what does RITE mean?
Right is like a ritual.
A ritual or custom. Yeah. Okay, then I think we will end our session today. Anyway, the
Yes.
others are not there, so no. And you have another session with Rahul sir, I think. Yeah. Okay, then thank you. And yeah, so any difficulties you have, please write them down. Yeah. And we'll be continuing with these questions tomorrow and more questions. So we will cover as much as possible in our revision. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. And these are all from past papers, right?
Yeah, so far. So far what we did were all from the past papers.
Okay.
Yeah. They are from the IPMAT Indore, Rohtak, and I think some of them are from JIPMAT also.
Okay.
Right. So these are the type of questions. The difficulty level for Indore is usually higher.
Yeah.
Rohtak is high enough, but Indore is a little more. Indore is more towards leaning towards the difficulty level of CAT.
All right.
So, and after this, like tomorrow and day after, then day after will be the last session together. And then you will go on to revision and taking your mocks. So I'll share, maybe we have done enough worksheets, but we'll do some more and try to do all the questions that are left in the study material. So the volume that you've got. Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
So that will cover mostly all types of questions and all difficulty levels. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too, ma'am.